A Life Well Eaten, where we cut the carbs and find more flavor. Hi, I'm Adam Lambay. I'm a chef and a diabetic, and I'm here to help you navigate the carb-heavy American diet with options that are delicious, healthy, and just so happen to be low carb. My recipes are great for diabetics, low carbers, or really anyone who wants to eat a little more healthy and deliciously. Today's recipe is stuffed poblano peppers. It's a delicious twist on a traditional rice-based stuffing. We've got to cut the rice and find more flavor, right? How are we going to do that? Stick with me and you'll find out just how easy it is. All right, we're going to get started. Now, the first thing you want to do is rather simple. We're boiling corn, right? We haven't done anything to the water. The water isn't seasoned with salt or sugar. We're diabetics, we're low carbers, we're eating healthy, we don't need sugar. All the sweetness is right here in the corn. So the first thing you're simply gonna do is drop it into boiling water. So we can almost immediately add our fresh poblano peppers. Now, these are gonna cook for about 2 minutes or so. If you don't like poblano peppers, or maybe you find them just a tiny bit too hot, you can use sweet bell peppers or green bell pepper if you like that as a flavor. It's really up to you. Think of more of a chef's recipe as a guideline. All right, they're ready. What you're gonna do is simply move the corn into a bowl of ice water. Now, what we're doing here is we're just cooling it off so that you can handle it. All right, so now, while this is cooling off and we're waiting to be able to handle those, we're gonna get that out of the way and start working on the rest of our ingredients. Want a nice small dice. A little chef trick, if you add just a little bit of lime juice to the onion, it'll take a little bit of the edge off. It helps actually when you're making guacamole at home, that works really well. Next, 1 clove of garlic. Now, cloves are always different sizes, right? So it's about a teaspoon-ish. But don't worry, a little more garlic isn't a bad thing. Just gonna smash it, remove the skin, and then at this point you can cut it however you like. Now I like it minced, I like it smashed, I like it so there's a nice even dispersion of flavor. But you could slice it, you could dice it, but you really need to use fresh. Don't use garlic powder or those kinds of things. They're just not gonna give you that burst of flavor. Cilantro, one of my absolute favorite herbs. Now, one of our ingredients, the black beans. This is where we're saving all of our carbs. We're substituting beans for the rice in a traditional dish. These are really great. These are the Del Carmen. You can find them at St. Louis farmers markets. They're even available in some of our stores. It's a Cuban style bean. So they're fully cooked. They're seasoned. We don't really need to add much salt to this between the cojita cheese and the beans. We're really seasoned up nicely. They've got a great texture to them and body. So this works out really well. And the beauty of this is your glycemic index. This is much, much lower on the glycemic index than rice would be. So what you're looking at here is about 22 carbs, 23 carbs for about a cup. If you factor in the 7 grams of fiber, you're looking at about 19 total carbs for 4 servings. If we were to use rice, the same cup of rice would be 44 grams of carbs. So we're cutting it in half, and we found more flavor. All right, next chef trick. Maybe you've seen somebody do this before. Really simple, easy. We're gonna grab a couple of our farm fresh or garden fresh tomatoes. And now you could go through and very slowly find your way to cut all these. And if you're not comfortable with your knife, you should do that, all right? But if you get started like so, we can cut all the tomatoes in one fell swoop. I'm gonna add that to our mix. And then finally, the cotija cheese. Now, like I said, there's a decent amount of salt here, so we could add this now, you could add it later, you could put it on the side. If you're entertaining a guest and they've got an allergy with dairy or just simply intolerant, leave it off. I'm not, I love cheese, we're gonna have some cheese. So, about so, in here. Now we're gonna let all of this wait, because we still got our peppers and our corn. First, we're gonna get started on the corn. And I realize you've seen 100 different people cut it this way. The bad thing about cutting it this way is it tends to fall all over your cutting board and make a mess. And then you end up putting most of your delicious corn on the floor or on the counter and not in the bowl. So one of the things I like to do to make this a little bit safer is just simply lay it down and cut it, just like so. All right, now simply we're just gonna stir this so that everything's mixed nicely. Again, we're not adding salt simply because it's already in the beans, and then we've got the cheese. And that's really it. Now we're ready to stuff these delicious fresh peppers. So what you want to do is, what I think is the easiest, is if you look at the pepper there, sometimes you can find a flat spot. So if you find that flat spot, you can guide your knife right through the stem and you get 2 halves. Now the beauty of this is that it makes it very easy to slice out the cluster of seeds at the very top, but also to use the tip of your paring knife and get the ribs out. So what we're left with is this little boat that we get to stuff with flavor. There you have it. All right, we're ready to stuff our peppers. Now, I like to use a little bit smaller of a spoon so that we can make sure we get all the little nooks and crevices of the pepper filled. And there you are. We're ready to finish. Now, you have a choice. You can do it in the oven at 375 degrees for about 10 minutes, or you could find more flavor and do it on your grill for about 5 minutes on medium high. We're simply gonna use a little bit more cotija cheese, sprinkle, garnish. I'm gonna head out to the grill and get these things finished. And there you have it. Stuffed poblano peppers using Cuban-style black beans instead of rice. Here's to good eating, good health, and a good life. A life well eaten. For this and more, visit us on these social media handles and find us on the web at alifewelleaten.com.